Hey God, it don't bust, it don't happen again. N1ger1a don't finally enter serious trouble. N1ger1a is now heading to the land of Teke Teke. Right now, this video what you want watch, so as you dey watch am, I want make you use on 99 sequence, take Filomi, Seliqui, elucidate this information into your Blackada mentality. And make sure so you watch this video from beginning to the end so that make you for understand wetin dey happen, because as e be now, we fit just sleep for this country. We will wake up for where we don't know. So I beg, if una dey sleep, make una dey close one eye, make una dey open one eye, because right now, N1ger1a don finally enter wetin they call danger. Hey God, e don red.
Former chairman of the body of benchers BOB, Wole Olanipekun SAN, has condemned the call for an interim national government, describing the call as invitation to anarchy. Olanipekun warned those behind the call to immediately perish such, because it is a situation that would consume everyone, including those in support of it. Olanipekun, who cited cases from developed countries where election outcome had been disputed, urged those aggrieved to exploit the opportunities provided by the Constitution and the statute, having gone to courts. He recalled the unpleasant experience the nation had under the last interim government experiment of late Chief N1ger1a in the country, describing it as a wind that would blow no one any good. Wole Olanipekun, a respected senior advocate of Nigeria and a former member of the Nigerian Bar Association, because it's as if it's not like a sing-song. Yeah. We are about to transit to, another administration. All of a sudden, I don't know where that thing popped up from. And every day you keep hearing interim government, on the basis of what I don't understand.
You see, in this country, there are a few people that want to sustain stunted growth for Nigeria. They don't want the country to breathe. And these are very few elements who have been controlling Nigeria since the 1960s. If you look at our history, all the head of states we have had, or civilian head of states, have been rotating, the choice of very few people. You talk of Gowon, you talk of Danjuma, you talk of Obasanjo, you talk of Bashar. And they were the actors, the coups of 1960s. Since that time, for about almost going to 60 years now,
you must visit
they have been holding the country, like this. If you look at the civilian heads of state president we have had, from Shagari, they brought him in. After that, the next civilian government, Abiola, they were the one that brought him. They didn't hand over to him. They are the one that brought President Obasanjo anyway, who was also part of them. Buhari that is going now was part of them. Two of them became president and head of state twice. It has been rotating among those 9 people. Danjuma was the only one among them that did not become head of state, was the defense minister. This is the first time we are having truly civilian democratic president that is not a product, because they didn't want these winners. They never wanted them. They wanted to impose.
They were singing with the same.
Yes, so people have been manipulating the oil sector, manipulating all sorts of things. They don't want to let go. You can see how they are running up and down. But it is too late, because over 20 million people have elected someone. So some 5 people, 6 people now sit down and say, we are wiser than this 20 million, over 20 million people. The whole world will laugh at you. We've had a similar experience when Shonekon was brought in. Interim government, there's not like interim government, it's military rule. It's just,
the Minister of Defense was so strong under Shonekon. Abacha was the Minister of Defense.
After 3 months, they will just use him to stabilize. That's why they call him Fidie, sitting with one slice of your buttocks. He's their candidate. They brought him in after 3 months, they edged him out, and then came in full force. So any attempt to talk about interim government, in fact, are you saying that you did it 30 years ago? People were patient enough. There were demonstrations. They grounded the country.
Like 72
People were forced to leave the country in droves, in thousands. The economy collapsed. We became a patriot state. The whole world was talking about us and abusing and insulted us. That what kind of country are you? 30 years after, you want to bring Nigeria nearly experienced civil war. during that June 12. I'm telling you, a lot of things happened. People were patient, they waited. Now, there was an election. They have elected someone. That time, they even stopped the announcement of the result. This one, you have announced the election. We have known the winner. The state governors, I say, we have known the winner. You now say you want to remove them and put it in the government. That's a very crazy thing to do. For people to even think of that thing, it tells you the infinite capacity of people to underestimate the will and determination of Nigerians. I think nobody will ever try that kind of. If they try it, look, they just want to let this country burn, and they should be conscious of the implication on West African sub-region. So as far as the whole world is concerned, we are waiting for the swearing in of the people that have been elected, and we hope from that level we can move the country forward.
Jide, it's as if, our politicians, they are used to this, they are not used to this spirit of fair play. That's, yes, when there's a winner, everybody will gather together and say, congratulations, you won. Next time, I'll try. But our own now, the kind of politics we are playing, if it's not me, that's when you have somebody that came third in an election, will say, it is my election, it is my mandate, it was stolen from me. I want to retrieve my mandate. It's either I retrieve my mandate or the roof will come down. That's the tone. That's the rhetorics that you are getting to hear from politicians now.
You know, how people came to convince themselves that the person who came third was actually the winner of the election is what still baffles me, because I am as curious as any Nigerian to see how Peter Obi wants to prove that he won this election. I'm as curious, because it will be the eighth wonder of the world for him to successfully prove that he won this election. And you can see that his supporters are the noisiest. They are even noisier than the man who came second.
Atiku Abubakar.
Yes, they are noisier than Atiku. Because the problem is, Atiku in the north, Atiku won those states. Largely, he won those key states in the north. In fact, I would say he won all the key states in the north.
Strategic states.
He won them. The biggest states, yes, apart from
Kaduna,
Katsina. He won them. Now, what is he going to be complaining about? That he didn't win those states with the margin that he wanted? I mean, if that was the case, how many people are protesting from northern Nigeria? How many protests have you seen from Kano, from Kaduna, from Borno?
Or maybe Peter will be saying he won this Kano, Kaduna, Katsina.
But he defeated Kwankwaso.
Maybe he was robbed in those areas.
You know some of the
voter suppression here.
Some of the people who actually came up with dodgy opinion polls, they actually gave him higher marks. They gave him a higher possibility of winning Kano than Kwankwaso. It was at that point I gave up on them, that anybody would think that Peter Obi can defeat Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso did not do rally in Kano, and he still got those votes. Even the APC people that he defeated, they have considered defeat already. He didn't do a rally. He was planning to do a rally at the last rally too for that day, and the police felt, look, if we allow the two of them, yes, it will lead to. So it didn't happen. So in spite of not doing a rally, you know how many rallies APC had? I know that Asiwaju must have gone to Kano at least 3 or 4 times. And yes, yet somebody didn't do rally and he got those votes. That is the person that some opinion polls claimed that Obi was going to defeat in Kano. Maybe they still believe that those opinion polls, including the one by Atedo Peter side,
yeah.
Maybe they still believe that those opinion polls that they did with only people who had Android phones. How many people in those rural areas where they don't even have lights, where there is no product? When they start coming out, you say, what? I remember my colleague, Ike Okonta, when Bashir Tofa was going to contest, he said, Jide, let's go to Tofa's village.
In Kano.
And then we went there. I was the one who interviewed Bashir Tofa. He didn't grant an interview in the months leading to that election, except the one he granted me. I was the one who interviewed him. The kind of people I saw, crowd, people, not like they brought them from somewhere, who were resident in that community. God. So, and these are largely farmers and traders. How many of them can operate an Android phone? You are doing opinion poll based on Android phone. And when the opinion poll doesn't go against you, you want to bring the roof down. You are saying you are the one who won the election. Which election did you win? The facts show that you didn't win this election. People are wondering, Jide, you have changed. Somebody sent me a birthday message. He said, I love you, but you have changed. Because I refuse to agree that Obi won the election. If that is what will turn you to my enemy, good luck to you. But I know that I'm standing on the truth. This election has been won and lost. Those delusional people who went to the defense headquarters to kneel down, that military should take over.
Yeah, I took another
Have they been told stories?
Yes, I look at them. I watched the video again yesterday, and I saw the age average, and I saw, oh, that's why this Indomie generation. Yeah, it's Indomie.
They don't know what military regime means.
Because the last administration was under General Salam Abubakar, and he left office in 1998.
You know, Abdul Salami was even a gentleman.
He spent 10 months.
They do come and see military rule under Abacha.
No, my 5 years. My thesis was on press freedom under military rule, a case study of Sani Abacha. That was what I wrote. The press freedom. That's what I wrote my BSc thesis on.
I was reading someone who was talking about president. Which president?
You would have cell phone. We were not allowed to.
For where we were talking. If you remember, we used to talk about Republic of Benin, Ghana, that women, market women that they had cell phone that time. We saw in Ghana, everywhere they had cell phone. It was a luxury to us.
They drive around, they pick people, load them. You don't even know what happens to them.
Even if you are his mate. The way Abacha dealt with Shehu Musa Yaradua, his boss in the army, you are moving him from the prison here in Lagos. He ended up in Abakaliki prison and died there. These boys don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know.
People who were tortured in the DMI underground cell.
They don't know.
Tortured. Some of them died.
Yes.
Many people were getting missing.
In the last how many weeks, Richard Akinola, our friend, he has been doing the kind of compendium. Go to his Facebook page. Go and check those that were tortured, those that were arrested, those that were missing. He has been doing the kind of compendium on the military rule. You need to... terrible days.
So many people. They don't know what they're talking about. And you know the unfortunate thing about this unreading generation is they believe that it is their own view that has to be correct. If you disagree with them, I'm telling you, you are not a human being.
I'm telling you.
Now you don't even have to be a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old to be able to talk about military rule.
Just read.
Because it's documented, for God's sake. It's documented. As I said before, I said, look, I did not see Yom Kippur War. I did not see the 6-day war between the Israelis, between Israel and the Arab war. But I can tell the story.
Bekololari got a fax.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the fax he got, it was paraded as one of the copies.
Yeah.
The fax was, look, okay, do you know what the fax was about?
You
know what the fax was about?
Nothing.
The person who was going to defend one of the coupies. Now, the defense was what if he wanted him to see, so that he can help in terms of the advocacy for freedom. Just LMO Fabi, who was head of the Navy's legal department, is from my town. My dad has said I should not call it village anymore. He's from my town. They picked him up, tried him for coup. It's the same charge in the real sense. This is help me pass this on to someone. Because Fadile was involved. Konkaba. And the next thing, people that they felt over time had been aggrieved, who had been cheated in the army over the years, some brilliant people that they made them to suffer. They now went and was picking them one by one. Because they felt that the situation would make them want to do. What did Gwadabe, for example, what did he do?
The interview you had with Duncan Bali.
Yes.
I still saw the back page day before yesterday when the wife reacted that Duncan Bali said perhaps that he cannot say categorically that those guys were.
That's Vasako. Mama
Vasako.
Yes, he said there was no evidence. I sat down with him in a Ikoyi golf club. And he was drinking his club beer. Me now, my favorite beer at that time was Gouda. I was drinking my Gouda, and he said at that time there was no evidence in the real sense of the word that they kept thinking what could have caused.
They just had to rope
these people that they were good friends, very good friends. One was even what's it called, best man to the other. He said they must have and failed to forgive one another. You know? So, there are so many brilliant people like that in the army wasted on account of a coup. Yes. Just wasted.
N1ger1a was arrested and kept in a cemetery for about 2 years. When he came back from that cemetery, he was no longer himself. He died just about 3 years ago.
Yes.
One of the most brilliant military officers this country has ever produced.
So many of them.
And so many of them, including journalists.
Some will be kept in solitary confinement.
What did Kunle Ajibade do? What was Kunle Ajibade's crime?
Fire me.
They came to our office, they wanted to pick me. I was the one who wrote the story.
And Kunle Ajibade was the editor.
Yes.
And they picked him up.
And, you know, that if I had gone to office early that day, they would have picked me. But Faleke's house was not far from the office, so I was still lounging. Because I came here to hide for 2 months. Now, when they came to that place and they didn't see me, they then went to our second office. That is where Sweet Sensation is now. It was there that they picked Kunle Ajibade. They picked him the first time, they took him away. This DSS here, they released him. And then they started arguing among them. Why did you release him? Who told you to release him? And they had to pick him up the second time. That's how he was sentenced to jail. It was not a coup plotter. How can a Kunle Ajibade...
Tomorrow, they've not revisited that case.
Yes.
And a lot of them like that.
Fin1shed was picked from Benin Republic, abducted from Benin Republic, and taken to DMI and kept there for months.
Be talking about telling national government.
They don't even know what they are talking about.
Don't know what they are talking about.
Talking absolute rubbish.
Mobile team
rubbish. God will not allow you
that kind of setback.
Achieve that aim. We have gone through it. We will not like it.
It's not a good story at all.
No sense of history. Don't read. Lazy, ambitionless, unreading generation.
Hey God, wahala be like portable. Shebi una dey see the kind of mental diagnosis on transmentality when this set of people dey diagnose. I'm sure that they must be sent by living ancestors, make we come try and pressure and talk to the people. Now they are now afraid. Say once interim government take over, say everybody's in trouble. As if say we never dey inside trouble before. As if say we are not sitting on a gunpowder metamorphosis before. As if say not be from frying pan to fire, not be with day before. So why they call the fear now? Why it be say these people now, they young people like people where they arrange, where they settle, say may they come studio, may they come put fear for N1ger1a. But you see, if F1 fall, you know they fall on top one person. Now everybody now ain't go collect the woto. So anyhow it want be, which one be? It was voted for. It was voted for. Oh, vote am. Nigeria said they did not vote this man. Even the man used the matter to say, I know many of you did not voted for me. So what are you now talking about? Anything will want happen, make it happen. All of us we go collect woto. Hey God, it don't read.